Hi, this is just a fairly fast overview of how I use a svea123r. So I have all this in a pot, kettle, cozy combo thing inside of a bag. So you can see I've got a pot that sits inside of a cozy and big old rubber band inside of the, by the way, this is the Optimus Weekender heat exchanger pot. Inside the pot, let's see, inside the pot I have my little insulating thing, and I got a little cooking surface if I want it. I got a windscreen if I need it. I don't need it today. A couple different ways of lighting this. Get all this windscreen junk out of here. Basically the windscreen is a bunch of little pieces of flashing that store inside this. You can see I hooked the key to the outside. It's because I don't like threading it through all the time. So, this is my little priming tube, which I don't think I'm going to need. Usually, when it's warm like this, all I have to do is open the valve and equalize the pressure for a moment, and then close it down. By the way, you can see some wick I have around here. This is the fiberglass insulation that you use around a fireplace door. I just have a little piece of stainless steel wire holding it on there. So anyways, what I normally can do is, just with the heat of my hand, on a day like today, usually I can prime it. We'll see if this works. Usually it works. I'll know in a moment because there'll be some fuel come out. If that doesn't work, I've got other tricks. Let's see. There it goes. Cool. Okay. Anyways, when you get it primed, you can reach over and fire it up. When you do it this way, it primes kind of weird. I mean, it will still get going. It's a little different than probably the way it's recommended. Anyways, this works fine in warm weather, priming it this way. I mean, there's colder weather, I typically use that little aluminum tube that I had as a straw. This tube here, I use it as a kind of a straw like this to pull fuel out and soak that wick. I don't know, since it is kind of a little bit windy, thought I'd throw on this windscreen just for grins. So this windscreen's not super special, but it works, and it helps control the flame. So this is the Optimus Weekender heat exchanger pot, and I think it's probably the best pot I've ever used with this Svea. So this is the normal boring stuff. I have a lot of water in there, and you can just trust me that it'll boil. because it certainly will. Other than the boring business of watching the water boil, something I wanted to point out. First of all, normally, especially on a cold surface, I have a little chunk of silicon, I don't know what this was, pot holder or something like that. I put it underneath the Svea stove, and that helps it, especially, it helps keep the tank from heat sinking into real cold ground or into the snow. Another thing I wanted to point out is that I made a little cozy, and you know, there's not much to it. I'm sure other folks can make better cozies, but the purpose of this was that when I'm done, you know, I get done heating up my water, and I want to keep some around without running the stove, I can put the whole thing back. The other thing is the cozy protects my Svea when it's packaged up and ready to go. It doesn't get banged up as much. Okay. Well, anyways, this is svea123r. I like the stove because of its simplicity. I'm sorry this is a warm weather test instead of a cold one, but I didn't get around to playing in the snow this year. svea123r is still available. Sets you back about $100 or a little less, and it's probably one of the most fuel efficient white gas stoves available. The tank holds 4 ounces. You typically put about 3.5 in it, and it'll run for a good honest hour. The stove does simmer really well, so you know, if you like to boil or cook lentils or I don't know, whatever it is you're up to, it's a really good stove for that. This little windscreen solution I have is kind of a cheesy way to do it, but it's safe. It does not overheat the tank, so you're not going to end up with a big fireball. I still think the Svea is a very competitive stove. For as much as people like to diss it, it really isn't any heavier than any other white gas stove. The biggest downside to the Svea is that it only puts out about 5,000 BTU max, which is about half of what you can do with a good MSR stove. But at 5,000 BTUs is plenty. As a matter of fact, in the time I'm talking, my 24 ounces of water here is now starting to boil. So it works pretty good. Pretty good little stove. Hope this helps you. Thanks. Bye.